Hello again. So these two hands-on are going to be very ambitious. Why? Because we want to run. We want everyone to run what Jonah did in the previous session with the Hello World, and also we will run a Zephyr operating system, and also run a MicroPython project. So let's do some baby steps first and make sure that everyone is ready. I hope we all finish with the hands-on. I asked Rick to please send an email with the slides to you so that you can copy paste the commands on your computer, and it's easier for you to keep on this. Ideally, you'll have to all go at your own pace, but since you are way more people that I expected, it might take longer for me to go around all of you. So I'll go with you in all the steps. I will give you about 3 minutes or 4 to execute the steps on each slide. Let me know if you think I'm going too fast, that you don't keep up. In any case, you have the slides, and if you go faster, you can advance faster, or if you stay back a little, you can always continue with the content on the slides. This is just an overview of what we already discussed. We'll have the application in the upper layer, and this is what we will be working on. Basically, Hello Worlds or the MicroPython or a Blinky demo that you will be looking how the LEDs will be blinking. So first of all, you will need the tools. This is already done on your computers. You already have the installer for the SDK and the tool chain. All of this, if in case you don't have them or you want to run them on a computer with Linux of yourself, you have to download it from here. So step by step, we're going to do everything from scratch. First, this is already on your virtual machines. This is the setup that you need, that Alfredo helped us build on all of your virtual machines. In case you are running on your own PC with Linux, or you want to do on a virtual machine from scratch, you have to follow these steps. If you see, the first 2 items are to download the 2 files that I told you before, the installer and the toolchain. So you will have to download it, extract it on a specific folder. In this case, for us, I mean, it could be in any folder, but in this case, I asked you to do it here so that we'll be all in the same path and the paths will make sense. You will extract it. If you see, everything will be in 2 folders, in 2 main folders. One is Home and Toolchain, and the other is going to be Home, Vega, and SDK, which are here. So keep that in mind. So first of all, this is something you will have to do, is get ready the environment variables. So you will have to export these variables in your system. This is in order to run or to compile the applications from the terminal. If you do it from Eclipse, you don't really need these variables. But if you want to do it both from the terminal and also on Eclipse, you have to set this. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. Please configure these environmental variables. If you don't have this, you will have a lot of errors in the upcoming slides. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. If you can, please raise your hand as you finish, so that I can know if you are we're all in the right path.
Is it already done in the Git bash in the virtual machine?
Some of them are, some of them are not. So just to be sure, do it, and it won't hurt anyone. For easy, you can just double click it It should have, or do it from here and copy and paste it on your Git bash. So first of all, were you able to connect to your virtual machine using the Git bash? This is something really important. Otherwise, you won't be able to run the Eclipse remotely using the X server. So just as a reminder, you should have these slides on your email because Rick should have already sent this to you. Okay, as you already said, the environment variables, we move forward and we're going to compile and run the applications from the SDK. So we should move to this folder, CD, the location of the SDK. As I told you before, the boards. On the boards folder, there are the application examples. So we have the boards, our board, which is the Vega board, demo applications, hello world. And in this case, we're going to compile the RISC-V GCC. And the other folder is the RISC-V Eclipse that is used by the IDE. In this case, we're going to use the ECC, and we can just go there. I didn't copy it. We go there, and we should be able to execute one of these scripts that will build the application. It's as simple as that. We just need to just execute the build debug script. And that's it. The application was. Okay, let me see.
Control plus should.
Okay, good.
Keep going. Keep going. Okay.
Can you see it now?
Ask the people.
Yeah. Can you all see it now? Cool. Yeah.
Which is the three headers do we connect to Vega?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay.
And pin orientation. Yes. So
Sorry about that. I think okay. you will need two USB connectors for the Vega board. One will be connected to this USB port, on the one on the right, if I have the USB ports looking high. Why? The one on the left is an USB port. I mean, it's USB directly to the microcontroller. You can use a CDC or HID profile on it. And the one on the right, it's an open SDA port. So in that one, this one is connected to an USB to serial IC that translates the UART data from the RISC to your computer. So we want to connect this one to your computer, and we will connect the small Seger debugger probe to your computer also, and we will connect them to the port labeled as J55. Now, the orientation here is that you will have to have the red cable on the number 1. So in both ports, you will see a 1, very small 1 there, and you have to make sure that the red line is on that spot. And same applies to the port on the Seger proof. There's a 1 on the right. So in that one, you put the red line. So that's how you need to connect the ports. Yeah?
This may be a silly question, but what if you only have one USB port? Which of the two cables is more important?
Oh, well, if you have only one USB port, I'm afraid you won't be able to. Because one will provide power. In case we don't have a serial communication to the board, we could use we need to power the board somehow. So you could use an USB charger or something to connect the board.
Yeah, I can do that.
And the other, that's most important to connect. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now that you connected the boards and you compiled your application, we want to flash it to the board. How do we flash it? We use it using an open OCD debugger plus a GDB connection. So we copy paste this open OCD command and tell it to load the configuration of the R32M1 risky.config file. Okay, so we paste it in here. If we load this without having connected the J-Link debugger and the J-Link debugger connected to the board, it won't work. It will tell me that the J-Link device was not found. So we need to connect both the Vega board and the J-Link. There it goes. And do the same. And now it worked. It's listening to connections. No, well, it's just listening to connections. Now we want to connect to the server and tell it to actually debug, or I mean to flash the application. To do that, we need to change the directory to the debug folder. If you notice, it's the same as the one that we were before, this, but we just add debug at the end. So we could just copy paste this. So we can do this in two ways. One is to open another communication, another secure shell connection to the server, or we can press Ctrl-Z and then press BG. This will load the server on the background, and we will continue on the same terminal running to be able to run the command. So I pressed Ctrl-Z, Control Z, I mean the set. Um, and yeah. Then copy this, move to that folder. And press and type this again. What we're telling it here is to load the hello world.elf file, which is the binary. And now the server we are connected to the server, and we will tell it which server we're looking for, which is the local host at that port. And send the command load. That's it. That should be able to program our application. Now we will have to open a serial port, a serial terminal, and connect to the port of the board. In this case, I am using a TeraTerm application, but you can use like PUTTY or Xterm or any other application that you use to communicate to a serial interface. Now here the port is open, and now I will tell my board to reset. Yeah. That one, in this case, I have TeraTerm. It's an application in Windows. This is from Windows. So in Windows, you can download PUTTY or TeraTerm. I recommend TeraTerm because it's much easier. The configuration on the TeraTerm has to be this. Baud rate 115200, data 8-bit, parity none. This is also included in here. Baud rate, data parity, and control none. And there you go. With these commands, notice that it's just one slide, a few commands, so that we were able to build and flash the application using the terminal in Linux. So this is the way when using Linux. Now we will do the same with Eclipse. And this is how it's done. There is also a step-by-step guide in the Getting Started with the RB32M1 SDK in chapter 4. So these steps are also there, and more detailed on what you need to configure on Eclipse. In this case, on your virtual machines, this should be already configured. So we will open. First, we have to make sure that we have the X server running. This one. And run it. Well, you can just close this.
Did you put Swift on the GDB?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in my case, since the OpenOCD kept running, I will just kill it. 1, 2, 3, 22. Just to make sure that when Eclipse tries to open the connection with the J-Link server, it won't have any issues. Okay, now Let's go to. Now I am moving to the Eclipse folder, which is in Home, Eclipse, and I will execute Eclipse. Yeah. Two below? Okay. Let me do it again. Like this, maybe? Okay, so I am moving to the, I moved to the Eclipse folder, PWD to see where I am, and I am just executing the Eclipse executable. Since I am running the X server in my Windows, it should launch the application, the workspace. The workspace, you can put whatever you want and launch. That will open the Eclipse IDE. In my case, I already have it loaded here, but you can easily load it by right-clicking on the Project Explorer section. And click on Import, or you can also go to File, Import. In general, select existing projects into Workspace. And here you will browse to where we have the Hello World project, which remember is in User, Vega, RB, the boards. We only have one board, the Vega board, demo apps, and Hello World. Well, we put it to select the risky instead of zero risky, and to load the Eclipse. Yeah, I know it's a long route, but it's there. It's kind of easy. And click on OK. So when you click it on OK, it will be loaded as we see it here. And in order to flash it, we just need to go to the Run and the book configurations. And select in the GDB OpenOCD debugging, select Hello World and debug OpenOCD. Sure. Which step? How did I get there?
Yeah, how do you get to that?
Okay, just go to Run. And in Run, there is one called Debug Configurations. And in there, we have all listed. Well, in this case, you will only see Hello World, Debug, and Release. There are just two configurations. In one, you will have the debug parameters, and the other you won't. Click on Debug. And keep in mind this is already configured automatically. The Hello World project, the binary that you are going to load, in the debugger, we will have what Jonah told us before. We have the path to the OpenOCD and the path to the toolchain, and also the path to the config file. We don't need to modify anything. Just click on Debug. And that's it. It will program your application. In here, if you have the serial terminal open, we can clear it. And now we are debugging. We can start debugging by stepping over, for example, like any Eclipse project, or we can push the resume button. And we will see that the hello world is here. In Eclipse, as you can see, it's a little easier and more user-friendly. Yeah. The serial port? That's correct. In case, that's a good point. There are ways in the projects to print the debug information in the console in here. In this case, it is not pointing to the debug console, it is pointing to the serial port. Right now, for example, my serial port is being recognized on Windows. That's where I can use the TeraTerm from Windows. If you are loading it from Linux too, you can use other applications like Xterm or Minicom. Sorry? Okay, this one? This one? It's the same. But yeah, let's give it a try. Because I'm not sure it's being recognized right now in Windows, in Linux, sorry. Because look, there is no... I will have to tell Linux to recognize also the COM port, not just the Seger port. Another thing that we could do if we don't want to print it on the serial, we could change a variable here. Let me check. Click on the project properties. C++ build, settings, preprocessor. Well, it should be here. No, but it's not. Print advanced enable. No, it was the only way. Sorry, there was no option to print it to here. What error?
It says, the warning was flash driver of RD is not support free driver.
Is not what? Sorry.
Support free driver.
No, but that's expected. I also had that one.
Oh, so I just press it.
Yeah, I just pressed OK. Okay, that's the way to do it on Eclipse. And all the steps are here. Well, first you had to, you could press the hammer before to compile it and see if there were no errors. If not, if you do it through debug, it will compile it anyway. So it's okay. And yeah, that's for the hello world. This is just what we just did, right? So, to make sure how the configuration on the OpenOCD is, and click on resume, and we saw the hello world. Now it is time to test it using a BLE application. So let's give it a try. Try to run the exact same procedure we did for the hello world on Eclipse, not on the terminal, but only for Eclipse. But instead of loading the Hello World application, let's load the Bluetooth Low Energy heart rate sensor application. It is located also in the wireless examples, Bluetooth, heart rate. I put the path here. So if you load it, you just need to download this other application from either Apple Store or Play Store from Google on your phone, and it has a heart rate application there. So you just need to flash your board with this example code and run it, and the application will see your device listed as this one. Arbiter 2 heart rate sensor, and when you click on it, you will see the data being displayed, sent by the board. This is some random data, but well, it doesn't have a heart rate itself. But yeah, this is a way to show how to do a BLE application on this microcontroller using the Bluetooth Low Energy and an external application that catches the advertising messages and connects and establishes a connection and sends data using the heart rate sensor profile. So I'll give you about 10 minutes, and let's tell me if you have any question or if you run into any issue when trying to do this. Okay?
That's not how it is for me. Well, it's the same thing. Both are just same thing.
What
I
was?
think risk VM, risk 5 VM should find it.
I had it on my key. Oh. No, it was hardware something,
Yeah,
right?
it's GitHub/openHW group. Can I?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Bad typing aside. RISC-V boom. That's not very good. It's not RISC-V boom. Why isn't this just coming up?
Let me see.
I'll let you go help people. I'll just get this up. And then.
It should have something here. All right.
That's the URL. See, GitHub Open Hardware Group. Open HW Group. There we go. RISC-V VM. And here, not branches, damage. Choose. Yeah, so that's just the steps that they have to do to set up the VM so that it can talk to the serial port.
Okay.
So if you want to tell people, because I've had like 5-6 people come and ask how to do it.
So, but this implies that the that the virtual machine already sees the.
That's step 2.
Okay.
So step 1, set the permissions up. Step 2 is virtually insert it into the VM.
Okay. So these are the steps for you to connect to the virtual COM in Linux, in the virtual machine. So you'll have to first give permission to the PC, and then open the VirtualBox and check ARM DAP link for the virtual machine to recognize also the virtual COM or the COM port, and not just also Seger J-Link, but both interfaces. The COM port, which is ARM DAP link, and the J-Link Seger debugger. Okay, this is only required for the Hello World application, so that, for any application that requires printing something on the terminal. But for example, for the Bluetooth low energy application, it doesn't print anything on the serial, so it doesn't really matter. So if you want, you can skip the Hello World and go directly to the BLE, to the Bluetooth example, and you won't need the serial port to verify if the Hello World was correctly flashed. So it's up to you. So has anyone been able to download the IoT Tools application and be able to connect to the heart rate sensor monitor? Not yet?
How are you gonna run it with tool chain, OpenShift.
Yeah, but I directed it right to it in the folder.
That contains recipe tool chain.
Yeah, but you installed all of your stuff like that. So I have to be careful with issues.
Page, so the presentation on the set environment page, I got it wrong 2 times. So there's export, 4 exports. Do you have the presentation ready?
Yes, I do, but I can't, so when he downloaded the zip files to certain directories, that's not the way they instruct you to do it on the Vega website. They give you different directories to work. So I can't use that exact same path. I can use the same parent variable, but not the same path. So I don't have a directory called toolchain, for example.
Okay, so I'm following, so I use the step-by-step stuff right here. And I follow it to the end.
Yeah. So, but mine was already installed, so I used the different path.
Yeah,
But I gotta go see what it is. I should uninstall it. I just do this stuff correctly.
if I run this, I get error messages.
You got 2 ports. Yeah, it could be. It doesn't matter. It'll work.
It's the same thing, you're still using Oracle. You're just not using Oracle's crap. That's what you're doing.
That's
I
just,
will.
that's okay.
No.
It's the same.
But you put the, this big on. Yeah, it's like, why is it not working? You know, for every script he commented on. What? Oh, I know what this is from. I forget what it's called, but I know what it is from. Look at this over here. That's what this is from.
Actually, no. I was able to download the tools according to the instructions in this presentation. And as far as so, well, it does not connect. It refuses to download in Windows? Well, just it's cool. I've got towards like this stuff on my touch.
I'll do it for you later. Yeah.
My machine will have
Okay, so what's after that?
That's no game device, so I need to download the device.
Yeah. Oh, I have. Was it in the download or was it on the top? Oh, you're talking inside. Yeah. Because I downloaded
There's a again, following a different set of process. It's one of the steps on the Vega board.
This is already
When I plug in plug in my Sanger, it doesn't recognize it as a USB device. So he was saying, start out, if you do it by Linux, it takes care of that. I'm not doing mine by Linux, I'm doing it through Windows. And so
actually, this sort of wasn't the USB stick that we passed out. I just didn't want to do it. It works.
is environment the directory tree is different than the Vega set too. It drives me nuts. There has to be a better way. If you look at that's the daily job. But you need to be able to write a script file that does that all for somebody.
Yo, I found it. Yeah.
Yes, Alfred did that.
I got your cell phone.
But that does it for the virtual machine, but it doesn't do it
Power of Tiger. Okay, so what do we have?
Not the software, not the software for cleaner. Yeah. But if we figure out if we want to Linux, from everything from Linux, promote it. Yeah, Windows is the trial.
Add project. On the special. Oh, there you go. 3 warnings. Forgot to send you call.
What's that? I'm locked down for what's that? Did you have them both plugged in? That's why I need to. So we got one USB there. This board is board's not here.
Yeah, I did. I just checked one of them. Still one on this one. I still get service.
Oh, well, that's the program. Good job. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, because like after this, what happens? Like I'm on the.
Well, that's when you first plug it in, it should have
right now.
it should show up exit. Yeah.
What's your this is used to record. And it's only connected to the YouTube, which is technology.
So I want to hold it. That would be dark. So the way you do this.
It's in the VirtualBox setting. It's only connected to either the USB port or the USB 3 port.
No.
I see what you do this. I don't know what you figure daily listen in that VirtualBox. And I actually so we have to try it.
Yeah, this is the. Yeah, so local.
So I have the race of the right, it's like that's good, right? And then after running. I don't think this is used for testing. I assume the window.
Like there's the real like 10 years ago. No. So instead of going off, it shows on. Or I don't remember what it was, but it shows you're going to see like 0.1 exit one. Wait, so you got it?
OpenOCD is an EXE. That path takes it right to the EXE. Yes. So the path takes it right to the EXE. So this window that I'm running in wasn't picking up the path of the environment. It was not changing. So we just have to kill this and start it again.
Yes. That makes sense. I need the context for
So now the access is what? Oh, you're back. It's not on the path.
and so
It's not on the
when I
path.
run
It
it,
should come up. It is when I look.
And then show us it's
Yeah, it's
when you okay, so fine.
I did. So the path is. Right here. So see, Vega,
But inside that terminal, like this.
yeah.
Type locate OpenOCD. I have that.
Nah. So locate.
Locate space OpenOCD.
yeah, you need to figure out which one it is.
Well, this.
Is this the VM? Are you in the VM?
I'm running a VM.
How did you?
If I kill, maybe I got. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
So in here,
I think so.
so just one has taken it command line. And so can type space. So it's not here.
Yeah.
So have you opened? What's in this?
So when it ports,
It'd be Vega. If I go to Vega.
Yes. But you need OpenOCD, so you need to set it up to the so I know how things work. Like these things. I pressure 5, source 5.
So can I just copy and paste it?
Hopefully, that didn't work for me, but maybe it'll
Long time ago. I know VIM. Oh.
So we have to go to the room back. So it's
I got it. Yeah, I could take one at a time.
But now you have to restart the
Okay, so. in settings, you should be able to do the same thing in settings, right?
Seems like just as complicated as the service will be. You know, but for the terminal, at least, yeah, like at least for the terminal, you would need to have all the other dependencies. Well, that was from like 2 days ago. I guess you already know. Okay, let's try it now. Okay, there you go. This is special.
So, just one comment. I noticed that on the VLE projects, some of you are seeing that the part keeps resetting, and that is because there is a library missing on the SDK that was included on the virtual machine. So there is one file, which is a library file that needs to be placed in a specific folder on the SDK. Uh, can you please let me know who is missing this file so that I can go with you and give it to you and let you know well, I put here where you need to put that library file. To verify, well, you will miss it. That's a fact. If you are using the virtual machine, you are missing that file. That's a thing that was missed when the virtual machine was generated. So the library is not in that virtual machine file. So yeah, I'll be going to your places and give it to you. And I'll put here the path where it has to be. Yeah.
Is the mention that there's another function for you on the VM? Are you still working on filling out which one on GitHub? Or is
Well, I think that Alfredo might be the one maintaining the VM on the GitHub.
I was just wondering if the VM is going to be
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But then yours is C++. ARM and RISC V. This one is maybe this works even better. You have to remember to be sort of on a regular terminal. Yeah, remember with the tweet right? Yeah. So it wasn't showing up. I guess it's different for you because you have the virtual machine. It's like you can try some of the options, like for them set the keyboard or something. There was like a weird one. LS space /dev /tty/c. Like this one looks weird. Maybe this is
Can I get an USB that I can share with you? USB drive, flash drive.
yeah. So I put a pseudo password. No, for pseudo, yeah.
previous one?
Okay.
Space, and then $, and in all caps. Okay, perfect. Now type SU for tweet super user. I don't know. Like I guess it's sort of work. I think I'm gonna use the terminal method because that's the way that the creators of Vega are. So I'm just gonna use the official way. Use terminal method. Well, yeah, but I've been doing double click job and see anything. Now this is from hardware. This is completely different.
It's just terrible. I think for that, I would say why it's 8 years, but the game characters are going to character traits. Yeah. Who's that?
Well, yeah, it's not.
So I did what you said. I did the environment variables in that environment. So they're set, and now I go back to that directory. Now, last time I was able to compile, but I wasn't able to use decomment. Okay. So now I go to compile and it counts. Now it's giving me, I can't compile. Say,
So then you can just go to
right, I'm not in the VM anymore. I thought I was supposed to set Well, I continue to work there.
Yes.
While I chest the chat, how are you warming up?
Control set it to type the.
Yeah, I'm trying to tab it.
So I got most of the problem quite right.
Yeah, like when you when something starts doing the last option you have, like for oh wait, I think I might say
Yeah.
The terminal, that's a teraterm.
You had to download some other program or
You have to download this application, teraterm. What are the memories with the flash drives with the library file? Oh, unfortunately, I cannot send it right now because I think that one has to be that one can be shared right now in this event, but for the public in general, I cannot put it in the GitHub. They have to request it via email. There is a disclosure in the website on openisi.org. So that's why we cannot put it directly on the GitHub.
Oh yeah, OCD stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge.
Here you can tap. Yeah, you should. There you go. Go ahead. Tap against the keyboard. Just put the next one on.
Yes, because I cannot distribute that. I have to do it through the stick that's separate. I don't know. It's the same. It's the event. I'll make the exception.
Vega, yeah, Vega. The next one. RI5. RI5. Yeah, there you go. It's connected. Listening on board, 444.
Is the file we need in circulation?
Yeah. There is a blue sticker in the folder. If you can find it. Yeah, it's in the other page. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Where are your memories?
I always want you to open it up the terminal just to show them.
Oh, it's to get the Docker running.
No, it's sessions.
You need to put it for know that it needs the voice people starting to work. How do we alter it?
It says open another terminal session.
I don't think that's I think it's
Let me double check. Which page is that, sorry? Oh, yeah. Doesn't show up as a directory. No, I think it's an application. So you see here with 532, unknown, is an application. And that's running yes, and it's running that in the debug. So it's an application. That's a debugger. That's the debugger that file. That's what it is. So that's the command, and that's the input to the command. The file is input to the command. This is a hard rate was supposed to take 12 minutes. 12 minutes, yes.
It's unable to mount the USB. It's Windows 10. It's Windows 7, but it's Windows 10.
That allows me to do the second step. Okay, thank you.
On a USB stick.
Can I borrow that USB stick?
I don't know what
Who has the USB flash right now? Oh, there. Okay, and there also.
We needed the library.
Can you get it from the guys over there? They have it. Okay, I'm glad to see that many people were able to load the projects. And right now, on the BLE side, there was a missing file that when you have it, you were able to do it, but it was resetting the board. Once you have the library in place and recompile it, it will work. And you were doing the correct procedure in there.